Right, so it is December 21st, and I was supposed to have the kids today. We were supposed to go to Disneyland, and then we were supposed to go to this fancy hotel. This is the Mission Inn. I'm there now, and it's too bad I can't have the kids with me because it's pretty cool and Christmassy out here. I think it'd been pretty awesome for the kids to get to come here and check this out. And instead, they're probably in some ghetto apartment in Vista. And new development though, their psychotic, alcoholic mother gave me their address. And I can't imagine what her motivation would have been for doing that other than, you know, she must have talked to her lawyer and said, "Whoa, you haven't given him the address yet? You're like 5 months out of legal on that." So that's my guess what's happened. I mean, she's been breaking the law for 5 months, and sounds like maybe a lawyer finally talked to her and said, "Hey, you need to quit breaking the law." But guess what? Keeping them from me for Christmas too, which I was clearly supposed to have them at this time, is also breaking the law. So I don't know. You know, she's still broken like 6 or 7 laws now. There's no phone number where I can reach them. She finally gave me the address. I've still had 0 visitation for over 6 months, and I've been here down in Southern California since August now. So August, September, October, November, December, that's 5 months. She's given me 0 visitation. So I don't know really what you know, it's like. But now she's going to try and start complying with laws now? That's very curious, isn't it? Like, you know, she's broken all these laws for 5 months consistently and constantly, and including the judgment-assigned, court-ordered visitation that I'm supposed to be having right now. And now, so she suddenly gives me an address. And I'm sure it's some conniving plot on her part. Maybe she's hoping I show up, and then she can, you know, claim that I'm harassing her or violating her personal space or something, and I don't know, get a restraining order and use that against me when we finally get in front of a judge. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to show up at your dump in Vista and give you ammo to keep the kids from me any more than you already have, you psychopath. You know, I don't know, maybe her motivation is that, you know, she gives me the address just a few days before Christmas, like clearly not enough time to actually get the presents to the location without going myself, which again, I'm not going to do, although I think she secretly, desperately wants me to. But that's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that because I'm, you know, I'm rational. And I want custody of my kids, and I'm gonna get it because she's broken like 6 laws since we've been split up. So, and broken every parental guideline according to the co-parenting class I took. Unless suddenly, you know, there's some co-parenting class I didn't take where they're like, the first thing you should do after a divorce is take your kids out on numerous dates with numerous military people and get drunk at every one of them. Like, if there's a co-parenting class that advises to do that, she's following it to the letter, because that's what she did for the first 3 months that she was gone with the kids. So, you know, and the kids told me, and other people told me. So it's not, you know, this isn't just, you know, this isn't just my, like, you know, wild imagination. This is what happened. And it fits the profile. I mean, that's how she was while we were married. That's how she was before we were married. And why would I think that she would be any different after we stopped being married? Of course, she's going to go back to the same thing she was always doing, drinking and carousing and hooking up with a bunch of dudes. Unfortunately, and this is the thing, I don't care. I really don't. Like, good riddance to bad rubbish as far as where I'm sitting. But she took my kids on those dates with her. Her and my kids and random Navy dudes, at least 3 different ones that I know of for sure. And I heard about a 4th one that seems plausible, honestly. Let's be real. Took my kids out drinking with her and random Navy guys, one after another. So I just, you know, and then instantly married the last one. Hasn't let me see the kids at all, and is forcing my kids to call that guy dad. And whoever this douchey loser is who thinks it's like, you know, okay to just come on in and marry a single mom all impromptu and like not let the kids see their dad and like pretend to be like play dad all of a sudden, you know. It's like, dude, like get a life, man. What a loser. He's never talked to me. He's never met me. He's never said, hey, hey, I'm just doing the right thing here. I'm hanging out with you. I'm living with your kids. You know, I figure we better meet for a minute on the phone or something. You know, no, that never happened. You know, of course it's not going to happen. Of course he's just, you know, kissing her butt 100% because that's the only kind of guy she wants around, because that's how her dad is to her mom. He's just a butt kisser. That's all he does. It's just down on his knees, buried in those butt cheeks all day long. And that's what she's looking for in a man. And apparently she's got it. And apparently this guy doesn't have the spine or the fiber to meet the kid's father or talk to the kid's father or you know, arrange any kind of like healthy, mental, healthy things for the kids, you know. Just like, no, we're going to keep the kids away from their dad at all cost for 6 months. For no reason whatsoever. I've never done anything to any of these people, ever. You know, other than call them out for what they are, which is trash. They're a bunch of alcoholics, they're a bunch of whores, and I've said so. And I'm sorry, but I don't want my kids hanging out with that. Most people wouldn't want their kids hanging out in that environment. In the middle of the ghetto with loud, like, ghetto music and everybody drunk all the time. I mean, come on. Who wants their kids growing up like that? And that's how they are. That's how all of them are. That's how her parents are. That's how her sister is. And that's how she is. And I don't want my kids around that. And if that makes me a bad guy, well, then I'm going to be the bad guy then. Because I don't want my kids around alcoholism and, you know, living in the ghetto. And, you know, it's just like, you know, getting vaccinated, being fed GMO garbage food, you know, the whole thing, you know. This is getting plugged in front of the TV 24/7, you know. All they talk about is Ninjago and My Little Pony. You know, when I had the kids, we went hiking every day to some different beautiful location in nature. Waterfalls, beaches, forests, mountains. You know, I mean, I've got pictures and videos of all of it, you know. I'm not like making this up. You know, now they're living in the ghetto watching My Little Pony and all kinds of other garbage like on television all day, eating GMO foods, hanging out with this Navy guy loser who like insta-married some chick who already had 2 kids and who had already been with 2 other Navy guys right before him this year. You know, it's like, I don't know, man. These people are shady and gross. And I just, you know, and I'm documenting all of it. And I'm coming for my kids because I don't want my kids in that environment, you know, at all. You know, and I'm not going to, obviously they're going to have some kind of visitation with their mom, but I'm hoping that it's, you know, I don't know. It's just, I'm terrified because I know how much my ex drinks all the time. That's why she has 2 DUIs. And the judge at the last trial said, oh, those were a long time ago. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's because she had a designated driver for 7 years. This guy was a designated driver for that alcoholic for 7 years. So believe me, it's not that she quit drinking. That's not why she doesn't have that 3rd magical DUI. It's because she had a designated driver. And now she's got a new designated driver. I mean, why do you think she needed to get insta-married, you know? A, she wanted the money, probably, right? This guy's got a job. He's in the Navy, right? So she wanted the extra scratch. And, of course, you know, he gets a boost in pay as soon as he's married. So, you know, it's a good business deal for him, too. Meanwhile, my kids are just being used to, like, you know, up their paycheck from the Navy. It's just disgusting. It's just disgusting. And I can't see my kids at all, including the assigned visitation, which was today. So now she gives me the address. What is the point of her giving me the address now? After 5 months of living at this new address with this random Navy guy who I've never met, who's living with my kids. I don't know anything about his criminal past, his criminal record. I don't know if he's like has a history of physical abuse or drunkenness or drug addiction. I don't know anything about this guy. And he's living with my kids, has been for 5 months. And I haven't seen them that entire time. Just put yourself in my shoes for a minute. Okay, I know they're living with 1 alcoholic. Are they living with 2 alcoholics? Are they living with an alcoholic and a meth addict? Are they living with, you know, somebody who's like closet gay, deeply repressed, and like will lash out and rage every once in a while? I have no idea. I don't know anything about this guy. I know that he's like obviously has no pride or self-esteem. He's going to hook up with some chick who was the village bicycle and already been with 3 other Navy guys this year. And now he's going to ride in, you know, come in, Navy guy number 4, here he comes, you know. I mean, so obviously he's not that smart, or he doesn't have any, you know, pride or self-esteem, you know, or something's wrong with him. And meanwhile, he's living with my kids, you know. It's like, you know, ugh. And I mean, and honestly, he's probably 10 times better than their mother, right? Who's keeping her kids from their father for no good reason whatsoever. No good reason whatsoever. There's absolutely no valid reason that I shouldn't be allowed to see my kids. I have no history of anything. No criminal history. Nothing. Until this whole divorce, I had an 814 credit score. I mean, literally, I couldn't be any cleaner. I have one ticket for talking on the cell phone while driving. That's me. That's me, Mr. Crazy Al Capone gangster with his ticket for talking on the cell phone while driving. Which, by the way, it was a work call. I was talking to somebody at work on the cell phone while driving, on a work day, So yeah, I'm pretty dangerous customer. Yeah, so anyway, but she gave me an address now, so now I can send the kids something. Obviously, it's not going to get there in time for Christmas at this point. Right? It's the 21st. It's about to be the weekend. I mean, what are the chances I'm going to be able to, order them anything and get it there in time for Christmas? Very, very low chance of that. But I can send some form of child support now that I have an address. So I'll be sending a bunch of organic foods to that address ASAP. I can't send money. She'll spend it on drugs and alcohol. And I have no idea what the guy's like. Lord knows what he might spend it on. For all I know, we got extra money from their dad. Let's go down to the strip club. I have no idea what the guy's like. I mean, he's in the Navy. That doesn't speak volumes about his character to me. He's basically a professional mercenary. That's like the lowest on the totem pole. Lower than, as low as like tax collector or whore, in my opinion. I have zero respect for that profession. So, yeah. So, I can't send money because I have no idea what it's going to be used on. So I'm not going to send. And I don't really have money. I just barely got a new job. I got a new apartment. I'm broke as a joke. My credit score went from an 814 to a 550 this year in 1 year. Keep in mind, I've always paid all my debts. I've always paid all my bills. But, the simple fact is she didn't always make her car payment on time. She didn't pay for her insurance. She didn't pay for this. She didn't pay for that. And a lot of it was my name. And next thing you know, my credit score is taking a dump. You know what I mean? And I paid the mortgage for like 7-8 months or something, And, and then as soon as she got full custody of the kids, it was like, well, there's no point in me paying the mortgage on some house where I can't even have my kids. So I just left, and she didn't like swoop in and start paying the mortgage. Not that I thought she would. Of course she wouldn't, So now there's very likely going to be a foreclosure on my record as well. So, thanks for that too. I mean, and honestly, the money and all that stuff, I don't care about any of it. What sucks is my kids were basically living in paradise in the Garden of Eden with their dad, who fed them organic fruit smoothies, organic veggies every day, all day, took them hiking, taught them how to read, read books to them, bought them a trampoline, fresh heirloom eggs, all that stuff, in paradise, basically. 24 acres of pristine, untouched, temperate rainforest. I mean, it was just absolute wild mushrooms growing everywhere. Truffles, chanterelles, morels, oyster mushrooms, just all, just beautiful, ferns, everything. I mean, there's videos and pictures all over my, history. I'm sure, if you know me at all, you've seen them, And my kids went from that to living in the ghetto with their alcoholic mother, with nobody there to stop her from being like a rampant alcoholic all day, every day. Not that you could, not that I could when I was with her. I mean, it didn't stop her at that time. She was still doing dabs and drinking vodka, at work, on a work day, in the middle of the day. She was doing dabs in the manager's office, eating edibles, high THC edibles, drinking on her lunch break with her boss, and then coming home and just getting absolutely plowed, drinking vodka and, smoking multiple bowls of Gorilla Glue, which is like the highest THC weed you can get, one of them. And, and not paying any attention to the kids at all, So, but now that's the only parent they got. Well, and this other mystery guy who obviously has no pride or self-esteem whatsoever. I mean, he's ready to just instant marry the Village Bicycle, be number 4th Navy guy on the train. It's like, ugh, gross, What's the matter with that guy? Yeah, so here I am, though, the Mission Inn. $300 a night. No, more than that. $360 a night or something. which I was happy to spend, you know, thinking, oh, I'm going to get to be with my kids. I'm going to get to show them the carolers and the Christmas lights and go on the carriage ride and go ice skating and go see Star Wars and go to Disneyland. You know, I had all this stuff planned and I paid for, you know, a lot of it already. And, but instead, I'm just here by myself stewing about the fact that it's now been 176 days since my kids have been able or allowed to see their father. Me, the organic food Nazi who doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't do any kind of drugs, not even pharmaceuticals. You know, all about healthy eating, hiking, fitness. You know, I go to the gym every day, almost every day. Sometimes twice a day, some days. You know, and that's how I was with the kids too. I was super focused on health, and they were way healthier, you know. Now they're sick all the time. I mean, when I see them on the video chat, Grace is like coughing and wheezing. She's got an inhaler. She had an ear infection. I mean, they've just been destroyed by being moved to the ghetto and being super stressed out by like not being allowed to see one of their parents for 6 months. I mean, she's actually physically damaging my children. And, I mean, parental alienation is like one of the worst forms of psychological abuse you can do to a kid. And she's been doing that for 6 months. So, yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm just documenting all this. That's what the point of this vlog is, to document all the facts around the case, or all the facts around the details around what has occurred to me and my kids this year under the American legal system. You know, due to one judge who bought every lie she told in the courtroom and didn't buy a single thing I said. I told absolutely 100% the truth in the courtroom. Thought for sure, you know, her DUIs, the fact that she worked at a marijuana dispensary, the fact that she was, you know, stoned and drunk all the time, you know. And everybody knew, you know. It's not like just me knows, you know. I mean, for Christ's sake, her profession was working at a marijuana dispensary for like a year. She's got 2 DUIs. This is not somebody who enjoys being sober. This is not somebody who's happy and healthy within their own psyche and able to deal with the world as it comes. I mean, look at how she, you know, just threw her family away to go sleep with all this series of Navy guys. Instant marry one. They're living in the ghetto apartment in the middle of like the one of the worst ghettos in North County. You know, and moving away from a pristine organic farm in the Pacific Northwest. And she took the kids and won't let me see them at all. There's no justice here. There's no justice here at all for the kids. It's just horrible. What is going on is just horrible. And I'm just posting videos about it to document it so that, you know, so I can remember the details. So, you know, when I get in front of the judge or when I get in front of a lawyer, they can know exactly what's up. And this is what's happening, you know. Meanwhile, I mean, my credit has gone into, you know, totally into the hole. I've lost like 200 grand this year or something. I mean, something awful. She got everything. The judge gave her everything. The judge told her to write the judgment and then just signed it, you know? So what do you think she gave herself? Everything. All the silver, all the gold. More Bitcoin than I even had. He assigned her like over 4 times as much Bitcoin as I actually possessed at the time. And then since then, I've spent it all because I've been trying to, like, you know, live near my kids, you know, just survive and trying to get a chance to see my kids, you know, and give my kids a chance to see me, because I know how much stress they've been under. I know how much their whole world has been turned upside down and thrashed by, you know, the psycho and her psycho parents, especially her mom, who's like, you know, apple doesn't fall far from the tree on that one. You know, just people with no pride, no self-esteem, sleep with anybody, drink all the time. Just gross. Just, you know, this is not how to raise kids. This is not how to have a family. This is not how to even just be a basic, decent, moral human being. And that's what my kids are around, 24/7. You know, maybe 24, not 24/7, because, yeah, she's dropping them off at the Y all the time, too, you know? Because Lord knows her unemployed, you know, alcoholic mother can't be watching the kids. No. That's beneath her to be watching the kids. Take them to the Y. Dump them off at the Y, you know? Her Navy guy, loser, new husband, isn't going to watch the kids. No. Just drop them off at the Y, you know? Meanwhile, I'm like in town, right down the street, like, please don't drop my kids off at the Y. Please, let me just take them to Nectar, get a smoothie, you know what I mean? Let me take them to the movie theater, to a park, to, you know, hiking. You know, I go hiking every day. Wouldn't it be better for Grace to go hiking with me than, like, sitting at the Y, like, with, you know, all these questionable teenagers and kids around, like, and very little supervision by anybody you know, with any kind of like credentials whatsoever. You know, I know what goes on at the Y. I mean, she's 4. She just barely turned 4. You know, she's just being dumped off at the Y. You know, and Everett, poor Everett, you know, he's not even 6 yet. You know, and he goes right from school straight to the Y. No parents all day, you know. And I mean, these are kids who were around their parents 24/7, you know. Just in June, you know, they were around me. I was with them all day, every day, doing healthy activities, eating healthy food, and now they're just, you know, in the ghetto, being dumped off at the Y, being fed GMO garbage, being vaxxed with every kind of mercury, thimerosal, aluminum, fluoride, glyphosate, all that garbage, all that corporate garbage that's in vaccines, just straight into their veins, damaging their sweet little fucking beautiful minds. So, you know, and my family has a history of Alzheimer's. We know there's aluminum in the shots. So we know Alzheimer's is caused by aluminum. So now there's a way better chance they're going to have Alzheimer's later in life because of their mother and the choices she's made in the last 6 months. So, you know, Everett and Grace, when you get old enough to watch all these and you want to know what happened when you were little and your parents split up, I hope you can find a way to forgive your mother for what she's done to you, especially on the vaccines thing. You know, shooting you up with aluminum when you know, potentially have the genetics to be susceptible to Alzheimer's. It's unforgivable. There's literally just no way you can forgive that. None. So, and if you guys find a way to forgive your mom, you're better kids than I am, you know, honestly. So, I wish you could have been with me here at the Mission Inn. It was beautiful, all the lights and the caroling and everything, and it's just, you know, and I can't even enjoy it because I miss you guys so much, and I'm so sad about how your world has just been ripped from you and just torn apart and just thrown in the garbage disposal. And I'm so sorry, and I would have never allowed this to happen. I mean, I did allow it to happen, you know? Somehow, your mom batted her eyes through the court appearance, the last court appearance, and the judge gave her everything. And I'm just sitting here stuck. I literally can't do anything. I'm doing everything I can do. Filed all the paperwork. I hired a private investigator. I hired a lawyer. I have hired 2 lawyers now, you know. I got a new job so that, you know, so I got something on the books so that you know, so that the judge can see that, hey, this is a guy who holds a job, who gets a job, holds a job, has a job, the whole thing. I mean, obviously that's important. I got a new apartment in a better school district than the one you're in, Everett. I'm trying to do what I can do, but it's just sad. It's just sad. And you know, at Christmas time, coming here and seeing all these other families, you know, running around the Mission Inn, you know, and the kids like hugging their dad and stuff, you know, and I didn't even get to see, you know, I'm supposed to have you right now. I'm supposed to have you guys right now. We were supposed to go to Disneyland today, and stay in this hotel today. Stay in this fancy hotel. And instead you're just in the ghetto watching corporate television and eating corporate junk food and living with some professional hired mercenary, you know? I mean, just, you know, with zero moral compass at all, obviously. Obviously he has zero moral compass, or he wouldn't be like, you know, party to this, what's going on to you guys. And I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry. I'm fighting. I'm doing what I can do. Merry Christmas.